Tulsi Gabbard has said she has treasonous evidence against Obama.
Evidence of treason, not treasonous evidence.
Semantics, Tom.
Did they actually do the things that Donald Trump said that they did? If they did, obviously, you have to put an end to that because you don't want politicians battling back and forth. If you put Obama in prison, you up the odds of an American civil war by an ungodly percentage. So we have to find a way to diffuse the situation. We have to find a way to both stop the corruption, not put ourselves in a position where we're constantly jailing our opponents. I have no idea if this is fake or not. The reason that I think people need to pay attention to this story is this is the breakdown of the thing that made American democracy so powerful, which is the transition of power non-violently, just like, hey, my time is up and, we're handing it off. And obviously that has been breaking down for a very long time. What I'm hearing coming out of the Trump administration is the exact opposite. Like they're talking about finding ways around the statute of limitations. So make this about Trump if you want. If you find out that Trump did something illegal, okay, you've got to find a way to call that into the daylight, make sure everybody sees it, absolutely obliterate his legacy. However, trying to put him in jail is going to come back to bite you in the ass. And this is exactly what we're seeing now. People have some sense that it can't happen in America or whatever. It will. I mean, think of it like gang violence. Like you killed my brother, so I'm going to kill your brother. Think about it as the Jews and Palestine. No one's going to agree on who started this. And so you're just getting this eternal back and forth. This is what you're going to see happen. And the only thing that pulls people out of these spirals is massive prosperity or enough pain that people just go, yeah, I can't take it anymore.
When Trump was in office, he was shouting, lock her up to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
He got out. Biden was the president. Then when he tried to run again, they sued him 75 times. Lawfare is on the table. It has been on the table against Trump. If Trump does it, it won't be unprecedented. It won't be the first time.
No, but that's the problem. I don't think that what I'm saying is actually going to happen. So let's be very clear about that. We do have to find like an actual beautiful deleveraging kind of thing where it's like, okay, this is actually real, but what's the real answer? I think the real answer is you're going to need to look for something like the statute of limitations. You're going to pull all this evidence out. You're going to, if it's real, you're going to show, okay, this was obviously an attempted coup. You were trying to destroy Trump's presidency. And the only reason that we're not going to lock you up is because of the statute of limitations. Something like that, where you pull the emergency brake before you go all the way to that thing. This is exactly what we did with Nixon. We made sure that he got a pardon. It's not good for the country to be looking back at this and to attack a president like it happened. We're moving on. He's resigned. He's out of the picture. We have to get to that state. If we can't expect riding off into the sunset from Obama, if he did this, if we can't expect that from Trump, if he's done something, you're going to have to do it at the level of reputation. But the fact that they went so hard after Trump is the reason that he's going so hard after them now. So he called to lock up Hillary, but when he got into office, he didn't pursue it at all. While still an ugly moment in our history, that's better than where we're at now. And listen, I could not be more open if people have a better idea, but you do not want to be in the business of locking up your political opponents. You just don't.
Multiple people are saying this is a distraction from the Epstein files.
Never getting them files. Never dropping.
Which I find it funny, too, that the chat is going back to that. Like, that is so deep-rooted, and everyone wants to find out.
I understand it. Look, Drew is unfortunately probably right that we're never going to get the Epstein files. The only thing that I can make sense, very powerful, very connected people on both sides of the aisle are going to get drug into this. Nobody wants to see it hit daylight that's involved in this. And given that it goes to both sides of the aisle, that's exactly why nobody did anything during Biden. Probably nobody's going to do anything meaningful during Trump. And so we at least get to watch the political machinery at work, and we can all say, wow, this is actually how they do it. It's pretty wild. This is a pretty relevant thing if Obama and his administration were actually trying to undermine the Trump presidency. That is a problem. If Trump starts trying to arrest former administrations, like that is also a problem. This is not a thing to ignore, even though it is also decidedly convenient. It was always inevitable that we were going to move away from the Epstein thing, no matter what happened. You'll get some fringe people that will do like an Epstein clock or whatever, but just like the single most consequential thing that I could talk about every time we go live is debt and money printing. Literally, it will always be The single most important thing that I bring up. But if I do that all the time, there will be 9 people in chat. Then you're just back to realizing you have to entertain people. These are the physics of being human, everybody.
She said, will Maxwell talk? Because, Ghislaine Maxwell is...
Oh, this is interesting. Because look, she's in jail for 20 years. She will drop a dime on anybody
She got plenty of time.
if they give her an opportunity. There's enough thread there that we still might get something that moves forward, but I think that Drew is right, that this is going to be carefully managed no matter what happens. I think if Ghislaine Maxwell comes out and names a bunch of people nobody's ever heard of, people are just going to be like, well, this was carefully managed, and obviously Trump backdoored to her, like, keep my name out of it and we'll get you out of prison. And then she's going to keep his name out of it and get out of prison. That will be how this is interpreted.
And then the testimony
no matter
is going to
what
be
actually happens.
Epstein was only with Clinton's and Biden administration. Everybody there was there, and then she gets out of jail and gets a pardon.
If she's smart, it would be more like both sides get together, they decide who are going to be the sacrificial lambs, and then both sides sign off on who we're going to burn to the ground. And so it's not going to be Bill Gates. It's not going to be Trump. It's not going to be Clinton. It's going to be some guys you don't know. If you approach this as a writer, 100%, that's exactly the structure that you would give this. Just when Alex Jones thinks he's actually going to get the real demons behind the scenes. No, you get these low-level guys, and then the final scene of the movie is you cut to a shot of like Trump or whoever. In fact, you cut to a shot of Trump and Hillary both putting on their goats' heads. I mean, 1,000%. Like, that's the
You're ready for
movie.
your TV director, your director meeting now. I see you cooking up now. All right.
So, but that is certainly going to be the picture that people paint. I would just not be surprised. Also, if there's some level of truth to like, when you got people on both sides.
I have to highlight this in chat because I think this is hilarious. Contradicting each other as they're both yelling at me. I love our chat. We have the best chat in the world. Hillary sat through multiple hearings. She did 12 hours in the Senate. Nothing about these two situations is the same. I'll put that over here. On the other side, said, again, Drew's being less than honest. Trump adopted the saying, lock her up, but he never took action. Half of the world thinks that Hillary, we said lock her up, but we never actually did anything. And then the other half is like, no, she sat through Senate hearings. She had to answer to these things. This is what I'm most worried about with this Obama thing now, is because, to your point, we should take the George Washington approach. We should just say, hey guys, this is dumb. For the betterment of our democracy, let's look forward and not look back. But right now in this moment, Obama's going to end up being in front of a Senate hearing. I just don't think it's going to get anywhere. I think it's just
that
be
would
another
honestly
circus.
be the best case scenario. If there really is nothing there, then that will expose the Trump administration. I mean, look, it'll give red meat to their base because they're going to believe whatever they're going to believe. But at least somebody who's willing to make up their own mind will be able to see all of this stuff presented. You'll be able to hear directly from that person and give them a chance to say, this is exactly what happened, so that the public has more information. I think that's a good thing. But I do not want to see anybody getting arrested. Not Obama, Clinton. Like, this is where you really get into the gang war.
Can that be manipulated, though? I'm just looking at it from an incentive perspective. You are found doing something potentially treasonous. Let's say Obama is the bad guy, caught red-handed sending the email. Let's make up some Russia stuff to get Trump out. What should the consequence be?
Here is the thing that's never going to happen, but really should happen. Whoever's in office, it happens to be Trump right now. He is constitutionally incapable of doing what I'm about to say. I completely understand that. But this is what he should do. What he should do is go, this all has to come out. We have got to see exactly what's going on. He pulls it into the daylight and we see what we see. Now, let's say it's worst case scenario. And it's like everybody's looking at it going, this is damning. Even people that are the most hardcore supporters of Obama are like, ooh, these are tough. And they're Iowa-ing, trying to like explain it away. Everyone's like, oh, damn. Like, I really think he did some dodgy stuff. And then as the leader of the free world, you say, I am the president of all Americans. We are in a populist moment. We are so tribal right now. We cannot think like that. So he cannot have his legacy. Everybody sees who he is now. Everybody sees he was the one that gave up on democracy. But I don't. I believe in democracy. And I believe the people that voted for him, that wanted to see him in power, I even believe the people that didn't believe in me. They just want something great for their kids. They want something great for this nation. And that's what I'm going to deliver. And my job is, even when people hate me, even when people want to see me dead, that the very thing you've elected me to do is to see through that, to think about how we actually make this nation better, more prosperous for people, how we return to being a beacon on the hill. I'm now channeling the person I wish were Trump. This is what Jesus taught me to do. And this isn't about Trump. This isn't Trump's America. This is your America. And we have to let that go. We have to look at it. We have to be willing to say we can't tolerate that. We have to be willing to say that's not American. And at the same time, we have to say we're looking forward. All we care about is making this a better place to be. We've eviscerated the middle class. This is how it happened. We're going to build this back. We want to make this a wonderful place. And then you get back to executing against policy. Dude, if he did that, you're never going to win everybody over. But I think people would really cheer for it. If he doesn't, at a minimum, find out what's true, his base will turn on him. If he goes through all of this to be punitive, then the left is going to riot. At some point, you just have to be in the land of reality and say humans are prone to do things out of spite far more rapidly than they're prone to do something because they actually care about the country and they want to see this move forward. But you are in the greatest position of all time when you have been grievously wronged and you don't clap back. But at the same time, if your whole thing is just, I want to see this fucker locked up, like that energy is so toxic. That's all I see right now coming out of the administration is that toxic, horrifying energy. So I get it. I'm asking for something that is just really unrealistic, especially in a populist moment. But nonetheless, that's what would work.
It's important to see the ought of it all, how things ought to be.
I didn't even go to ought. That's what should happen because it would be more effective. But this is what I'm saying. Know what your goal is. I can articulate my goal. I can tell people exactly what it is. Because I know what my goal is, I know what to do with the next 15 minutes of my life to move me towards that. It's only when people don't know what their goal is that they become very confused about what I should do right now. PSA, most people are operating under what I call invisible goals. They are emotion-based. It's like, I want to punish this guy. The people that came after me, I'm going to fucking get them. And I can only imagine in that photo when he's holding his mugshot and he's got that look on his face that he was thinking, I'm going to get you all back.
Chat has beef with this.
Let's go.
There should be consequences for accusing someone of treason and not being truthful. Without actual consequences, there is no incentive for political actors not to commit crimes, to undermine their opponents when they believe they'll lose otherwise.
Here's the really bad part. They are correct. Now, our job as the sensible people in America is to figure out what is that thing? Because putting them in jail is the most obvious option. Now just play that out. What happens to the people who will believe this was all fake? They have arrested this man unjustly. Or if you think that the accusations of treason are unjust, there are going to be people who are like, you're out of your mind. That's all true. They've got the receipts. Everyone is delusional if they don't see that there are people on both sides who believe it to the core of their existence. It's emotion-based, but they nonetheless believe it. If you think we lock up Obama, everything goes back to normal, and finally life is fine, okay? If you believe we lock up Tulsi, we lock up Trump, everything's going to be fine. Goes back to normal, finally. Okay, well, that's what you believe. I think you're out of your mind, and I don't think you have any historical precedent to point to and say, this is what happens. What ends up happening is the other side, the side that does the locking up, loses so much legitimacy because it is seen as an act of political violence.